you, and you're able to join us for this brief live session for about 23 minutes. Let me just make sure everything is okay before we get started. Please bear with me. All right. Let me make sure the sound is okay. Okay. If you can hear me, just put a thumbs up in the comment section so I can know exactly that yes, we are ready to go. In the meantime, I'm just checking on my end to make sure that we are good before we get into the meat of what we're about to share today. So please bear with me. Oh, what a beautiful day. 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 Okay. What a beautiful day. Yeah, just put thumbs up in the good morning to you. Okay. All right, fantastic. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Cruising is fun anytime. I so appreciate your presence. I'm so looking forward to sharing something that's going to hopefully bring some value into your life, and going to give you some kind of new perspective when it comes to this thing known as a personal brand, or more specifically, personal branding as a process. Let me just introduce myself again briefly. My name is Dimitri. I am the gentleman who's simply on fire about seeing you jet propel to your next level or dimension as far as your journey to wealth or personal branding is concerned. I am based in Canada. As a matter of fact, let me just clarify this one, because for some reason, people still believe I live in America. I live in Canada. So this is something I have to make clear as far as my location is concerned. I live in Canada. So if you're ever looking for me, now you know how and where to find me. All right? Let me say as well, good morning as well to our family here. Thank you so very much for being with me. Oh yes, we learn business and lifestyle. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. I so appreciate you. Yes, but it's okay. If you came with us even just for 5 minutes, that'd be great. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to actually go too long when it comes to preamble, and I'm not going to go too long when it comes to even what I'm going to share, because I want to go straight to the point to actually share with you what I need to share with you for the next 20 minutes. A few days ago, I published a video talking about personal branding, and I was in this video talking about, I gave the example of Neiman Marcus and as a store in North America, saying that yes, a personal brand is a smell, it's a fragrance you have to protect. You have to know exactly what you call to represent, and make sure that as you actually you have your clear vision as far as your vision is concerned. As you go about that, you have to make sure that you put together a list of top priority that you have to adhere to on a daily basis, and make sure that anything that does not speak or that's not aligned with this priority cannot actually be found in your midst. Why? Because, for example, if you say to yourself, I will be selling top items when it comes to fashion, men's or women's fashion, and that's your goal, you have to stick to that. You can't be going to into this business, and next thing you know, people start seeing that you want to mix that with selling I put a very extreme example just to actually illustrate the point. You start selling saltfish, because that's going to lead to a place where that fragrance of saltfish will be doing what we call in the world of in the videos, we call it egress. So that smell will be going into the smell of what you're selling as fashion items, and eventually the designing people who want to actually buy from you will simply say, no, my friend, this is too much. I can't be buying suit from you that smell like saltfish. I'm just going to walk away. Oh my goodness. Yes, thank you very much for being here. Wally Rich, Unstoppable Entertainment, good morning to you too. Yeah, thank you. I so appreciate it. As a matter of fact, it's about 7:39 right now in Canada, 7:40 right now. So I have about 13 minutes I'm going to have to deal with when it comes to delivering what I promised to deliver. So again, what is a personal brand? Personal brand, as people say, it's a fragrance. But above and beyond, a personal brand is actually something more key that we have to understand in the world of chemistry. Personal brand is a cell. More specific, it's a living cell. It's a living cell that's made of molecules, that's made of atoms, and so it's something that's living inside of you. So it's looking for an opportunity to express itself. And once you give it the room, the time and space to actually express itself, the living cell will start to grow and start attracting other living cells. And with this living cell, it will start building something concrete and something tangible, such as a tissue that's going to surround you and give birth to something that you can simply imagine, simply say, my goodness, how did this personal brand give birth to this thing? Why? Because he would have simply allowed for that living cell to simply express itself. And as it started expressing itself, it will start now attracting like-minded cells, and together will give birth to a tissue, and tissue will give birth now to a body. Tissue will give now birth to a body. But if you don't know exactly what your personal brand is, also if you don't know what the tissue, or if you don't know what the living cell is, what you're going to do is you will simply be mismanaging the living cell, and the living cell will be put now in the company of other cells that will simply come and crush it, or simply it will become simply a moment of repulsion, and before you know it, what you had as a promise will simply start dying, because they will simply say you don't understand what you had as far as the living cell is concerned. So that was it, first point. Second point I would like to share with you. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. I so appreciate you. Thank you very much. And the example I was giving a few days ago, when it comes to a personal brand, is something that you have to protect. You can't be selling, let's say, top fashion items and at the same time mixing that with selling a saltfish. And I know that some people may be on the fence. They simply say, Dimitri, you can't be saying that because you know what? My father, my grandmother, or I still sell fish. So because I sell fish, I am somebody. Of course you are somebody. Of course you matter. But your personal brand is actually selling fish. So that's fine. And as a matter of fact, there's absolutely, again, I'm saying nothing wrong with selling saltfish. And I'm going to give you today just one key example to clarify exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to knowing exactly what you are called to do and what you are called to be. And once you know what you are called to be, once you start doing what you are called to do, you're going to have exactly what's supposed to actually come through that promise of that personal brand. So again, your personal brand is a living cell that you have to understand. And once you understand it, it will start attracting other living cells, and together will give birth to a tissue, and eventually to a living body that will simply emerge. Perfect example. Let's go to the Congo. Back in the day, known as Zaire. Congo in 1938, and somewhere in a place known as Sonabata, so S-O-N-A space B-A-T-A, Sonabata. In 1930, sometime in July 1938, was born a young man that came to be known as Franco Rambo Macchiati. Yes, I did. Thank you. Thank you very much. I so appreciate you. Yes, as a gentleman was actually born in 1938. At one point, his family simply said, now we're going to relocate from this city. We're going now to go to the main city, which at the time was called Leopoldville, now known as Kinshasa. As they moved there, around 1945, this young man simply said to himself, I feel like I was born to actually be a musician. So he goes and actually put together something that was going to be a makeshift guitar. So he's just playing with that, just trying to figure out exactly how to make music out of this. One thing led to another. Slowly but surely, this guy become extremely good at actually playing guitar with this makeshift guitar. The sound that's coming out of this instrument starts sounding extremely amazing. But as fate will have it, around 1948, so about 3 years later, his father passed away. And as his father passed away, as the main breadwinner for the family, his mom simply says, my goodness, what am I going to do now? So I have to find a way now to provide for this family. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the market, because I used to sell bread before I got married. I'm going to go to the market and start selling things so I can put things on the table for my family. And as he started doing that, the young man said to himself, no, I can't let my mom go to the market by herself. I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to support my mom. So I'm going to also drop out of school and go to the market to help my mom sell whatever she's selling in the midst of all this frequencies such as saltfish. And he goes to the market to mommy and he said, but I'm not going to go there to actually sell fish or to sell bread or to sell whatever she's selling and the way she's supposed to be selling. I'm going to be there just to find a way to attract customers to her stall. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take my makeshift guitar and other instruments I may have found, such as harmonica. I'm going to go and start playing music so that people can pay attention to what she's doing. And guess what? That's what he started doing, and eventually this thing become a success. People start coming and say, my goodness, let's go to the market to see this young boy who's about 10 years old, is playing music with such future, so we have to come see him. But let me just slow down for 1 second. Why am I saying that personal brand is a living cell? Because at the time, back in the days, in this country known as, it was called at the time, Belgium Congo, now known as, eventually known as Zaire, and eventually known as the Democratic Republic of Congo. At the time, when the Belgians come into the Congo, they have this crazy policy. They simply say, yes, in order for you to make it, we're going to tell you what the step you have to take in order for you to become someone within our society. You have to go to school, because when you go to school, you keep going to school and you start learning certain skills within the school system, you're going to become what we call simply evolves, or someone who is actually able to function within our society. But if you decide to actually not go to school, you're simply going to become a nobody, because the system has no need for people who don't go to school. So by deciding to drop out of school, Franco Makele simply say, I'm not going to be an evolved person, I'm going to simply be a regenerate as far as the society is concerned, but I'm still going to find a way to know who I am. And that's where you have to know exactly that a personal brand is about a living cell. As a young man go to the market, he's playing music such a virtuoso, but as he's playing music, says, my job, my portion is not to be in the market as a merchant. I'm not here to be a salesperson in the market. I am here to simply let the world know that I have a talent, and I'm not going to be ignored as far as who I am is concerned. Slowly but surely, of course, once I spreading that there is a genius playing music in the market with such vision, you have to go see him. And of course, as things go, living cell, attract another living cell of this virtuoso, so attracting the living cell within somebody else by the name of They were young, and all the brothers simply says, my goodness, this young man, you're playing things so well, let's just come together and find out to actually play music. I'm going to actually be your mentor. Not only your mentor, we're going to find out to put together, my goodness, living cell, we're going to attract other living cell, and together we're going to put together a group, a musical group called What Time. That's what they did in about 1950, and as they started doing that between 1950 and 1953, they performed so many different places, and they actually all the craft so well that of course oh my goodness, rumors are spreading about their talent. So it wasn't a matter of time before they decided to go to a recording label. Held at the time by someone by the name of Henry Bowen in 1953. So from 1953, they got the audition for Henry Bowen. Simply say, yeah, you guys are playing very well. I'm going to let you play under my label known as Loningisa. So as I was playing with Loningisa from 1953 until 1956, Franco Makele simply say, yes, this is good because I know that my living cell is now actually growing. It's actually going to place, it's expressing itself. But I can't stop him, so we have to go find a way to become a natural man, because this guy, everybody does not see the vision that we have as far as this thing is concerned. Why? Because the personal brand is now growing to find a way to actually express itself. 1956, they go now audition for someone who at a bar by the name of Oscar Kashala. Oscar Kashala simply say, yes, I like the music, I like the sound of your music, so I'm going to hire you to become a full-time band, but you need to find a name for your music, for your band. And the band is saying, we're going to call ourselves OK, because, yeah, we're going to take your initials, Oscar Kashala, but Rumba Makele said, no, it can't be after this guy. We have to say OK, simply meaning Orchestra of Kinshasa, meaning Orchestra of Kinshasa. Okay. But he said, no, it can't just stop them. We have to find something to make it sound more different. We're going to call it OK Jazz. So that's how they started the name OK Jazz between 1956 until the 1967. At the time, Rumba Makele is in the background, just playing his guitar. It was just writing music, but it was just mostly playing the guitar in the background, because the group was actually led by people such as Vicky Longomba, the father of this young man known today as Willow Longomba. So Willow Longomba and somebody else were actually leading the group until 1967. At that point, they decided to leave. And as they leave, Franco Rumba Makele, the brand, the living sense, it was actually so big, it simply took over and simply said, now I'm going to be the one in charge. From 1967 until 1989, when he passed away at the age of 51 years old, this young man came and took the world of music and took it by himself and gave us something completely unique and something completely different. Why? Because he simply was there to show that, yes, your personal brand, my friend, is simply a fragrance. That's what I was telling you about a few days ago. But today I'm simply here to tell you that your personal brand, more than that, is simply now a living cell. And once you understand how a living cell works, and you give your living cell the chance, the time and space to grow, the living cell will start growing and will start attracting other living cells, and together they will form a tissue. The tissue will start eventually forming a body, and the body will actually come to simply tell you that yes, whatever thought, whatever feeling that you have in your mind as far as who you call to be is concerned, once you start being that and you start doing things that are consistent with that being, eventually what you're going to do, you're going to simply have something tangible and concrete to give to the world around you. And this is just very key. So personal branding is simply about chemistry. It's simply about chemistry, because once you understand that the idea that you have of being something is simply a living cell looking for an expression, my friend, you're onto something really big. Let me just end with just one quick example. In 1942, November 27, 1942, in America, when Jimi Hendrix was actually born, he quickly had an idea, yes, I'm going to be a musician. But he did not know exactly how this was going to come about, because they were really poor. So every day, when his father would leave the house and simply says, yeah, now young boy, go clean the house, he would take the broom. He cleaned the house. After cleaning the house, he was just take the broom, the bin of straw, and would start actually playing with that broom. And eventually, because he would be playing with so much passion with that broom, eventually all the straw will be all over the place. And his father will come and be very upset and say, "But I've asked you to clean the house. How come the house is messy?" But what he did not know was that the living cell was looking for an expression, and that expression was simply looking for it to simply try practicing how to play the guitar. Eventually, when the father caught on and realized that yes, my son is simply trying to practice how to play the guitar, he went and actually bought him an electric guitar. Again, living cell looking for an expression, attracting to itself the resources, the people, and the things that you need for it to express, to better express itself. As the father buys the guitar and he starts playing the guitar, two key things happen. Number one, the father realized the son is actually left-handed. The father simply said, "No, my son in this country being left-handed simply is not good, because spiritually, back in the days, a left-handed person is actually a man possessed by the devil. So you can't be doing that." So the son simply said, "Yes. So as my father is around, I can be playing the left hand, I'll be playing with the right hand. But as soon as I leave the house, I'll be playing the left hand." So doing that led him to a place where he started expressing himself. Oh my goodness, the living sense of expressing himself with both hands, both with the left hand when the father was not around, and the right hand when it was around. Before you know, when this living sense came to a place where he could no longer be ignored, he went on to perform with different places, and the people were always amazed by his ability to play both the right and the left, and to play with such virtuoso. Why? Because he gave the living cell the permission to express itself, and that simply led to him becoming this absolutely magnificent player who amazed the people that known back in the days in England as the god of guitar, otherwise known as Eric Clapton. And eventually in 1968, and that's just something that always sticks in my mind, is when he went to perform in Woodstock, he was playing the national anthem with the guitar. He played with so much virtuoso. I simply said, how is it possible that this young man is playing the guitar and is causing the guitar to speak and to sing better than the voice of many people out there? Why? Because the young man came to simply understand that your personal brand is simply a living cell looking for an expression. And once you give it the expression at the time and the space to actually express itself, it will simply go on to grow and start attracting the resources, the opportunity you need. It's need to actually grow and become simply a tangible reality in your life. My goodness, let me just say hello to my family here. Hello, one busy mama. How are you this morning? I'm almost done, but before I go, just one quick example. Because I keep saying, I've been saying for the past few days, that we are not physical beings having a spiritual experience, but we are spiritual being having a physical experience. When you come to understand, you come to see that yes, you are first and foremost a spiritual being. And with this comes a great responsibility to know how to navigate in the spirit realm. Let me just end with this one example. I'm going to close. In the Bible, there's a story about this young man by the name of Moses. Moses goes before God. Moses is actually called before God. God said to him, "I'm going to give you a personal brand." I'm shooting on the story. He said, God said, I'm gonna give you Moses a personal brand, and your personal brand is going to be, I'm gonna give you the title of leader. You're going to go out there and be a leader within your community. I'm going to give you the fragrance of a leader. I'm going to give you the fragrance of leadership. I'm going to give you otherwise a living cell known as leadership. Moses said to God, but yes, you're going to give me the fragrance of leadership. You're going to give me the living cell of leadership. But I think you're talking to the wrong person, because I don't believe I have what it takes to actually be a leader. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a fool of myself, because I've been just working as a shepherd. So how can possibly a shepherd go out there to work and lead people to a better place? And of course, at the time, the person or the entity hiring Moses simply says, but Moses, you're completely dumb. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the fragrance of leadership. I'm giving you the living cell of leadership. If you understand personal brand, you will come to understand that yes, the living cell, once you accept it, what's going to do, it will start attracting the resources, the people, the opportunity, and the things you need to actually express itself. And before it will start attracting, everything you need to actually go on to become big and become something tangible in your head. And the key question I ask him is, if I call you a leader, that means that you have the ability to transform what you have in your head into something people can see it. In the case of this young man known as Rumble McCarty, it's simply the makeshift guitar, but because he was so into the personal branding process, the guitar basically became this huge band and became eventually this huge entity that we came to know as OK Jazz and revolutionized the world of music in Africa. That was number one. Number two, in the case of this young man born in November 27, 1942 in America, Jimi Hendrix, he had the idea of music, and the idea of music eventually gave birth to this broom, and the broom gave birth to the guitar, and the guitar gave birth to the Jimi Hendrix that we know as the master of this thing known as guitar. Number two. Number three, and in the case of Moses, God is simply saying to Moses, I'm going to give you this idea as the ability to simply, oh my goodness, transform the reality around you into something completely different. If you don't understand what I'm saying to you, take the staff in your hand that you believe that this is just for shepherd to actually go around with the sheep. No, take it and just try to look at it and see what's going to happen. It didn't want to say, oh my goodness, it transformed itself. It simply say, yeah, duh, because once you accept the identity of a leader, or once you accept the fragrance of leadership, once you understand the living self-leadership is going to go on to simply start transforming things around you into something completely different. And before you know it, you're going to be something completely different in the eyes and the ears of the people around you. All right? My goodness, let me just slow down here, because I think as far as this thing is concerned, I'm done. Good morning to you, my friend, best of Ajabo TV. I hope you're doing very well. And as I keep saying, I promised myself I was going to be before you for about 23 minutes to just discuss this idea known as personal branding. Personal branding as something that we have to understand as not just as a fragrance, but as a living cell. And living cell, once you give it expression, the time and the space to actually grow, it will simply grow to attract other living cells, and together they will form a tissue, and tissue will give birth to other tissue, and together will come eventually to a place where they will give birth to a living body that will simply stun you and simply say, my goodness, how did this idea go on to manifest all this? In 1976, when this young man by the name of Steve Jobs got together with Steve Wozniak and simply said, we're going to put our minds together and put together this brand known as Apple. People were making fun because they simply saying, yes, you, Steve Jobs, you smell bad because you eat crazy things. Your body odor is completely, yes, repulsive. We can work with you, so how can you possibly believe that you have what it takes to put together the next big brand as far as the world of IT is concerned? They made fun of him, but because the living cell, my goodness, because the living cell was so powerful at the time. When they got together with Steve Wozniak, they found a way now to put the mind together, and slowly but surely it started giving birth to tissue. Tissue after tissue, it came eventually to come to a place to give us this birth to this thing known that as Apple. And why? Because why this thing is so important? Because once you understand what the living cell is, once you understand how to express yourself in the context of personal branding, my friend, you will simply come to have a clear vision, and the vision will simply give birth to goals and sub goals. and top 3 priorities, and these priorities are the thing that will be guiding your life. And if anything or anyone is not aligned with this priority, my friend will simply say no. The living soul will simply say no. This person got a goal. This thing has to go, because we have to remain focused. We are here to actually deliver something key. And once you do that, my friend, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to stand yourself, because you're going to give birth to a tangible reality that will simply let the world in heart, because they say how this thing come about, because they will not see that the personal branding process was already at work. A living cell was at work in the world of the spirit realm to simply give birth to more living cell, and eventually to give birth to something tangible for the whole world to actually behold. All right. Yes. I think that's it as far as I'm concerned. I promised 23 minutes as far as this thing was concerned. I deliver. But let me just say just good morning to family here. Oh my goodness. Brittany, thank you very much for being here. So I appreciate you planning your one life. Oh yeah, debt-free, debt-free, that. Good morning to you too. Yeah, Guy and Larry Chan, all the way believe from Vietnam. Thank you very much. I have America. I have America again, I have Nigeria, and I have Jamaica on the line, and I have also many other people. So best of Ajabu, Guy and Larry Channel, please make sure to say hello to one another. Plan your one bet, plan your one left is in the house. Marcus, the attorney from the New York State, is also in the house. They're free that. And of course, we have the amazing One Busy Mama and my goodness, Elaine, business and lifestyle. And One Rich Unstoppable Entertainment was also in the house. So I took the time to greet all of you so that I can actually make sure that everyone was acknowledged properly. And last but not least, of course, we had cruising is fun time. It's fun anytime in the house. Fantastic. Let me see if there's any question as far as this presentation is concerned. If not, then of course, as far as this thing is concerned, I am done. I gave you 22 minutes as far as this thing is concerned. And I think, yes, I'm done. So again, as I was saying, personal branding is a spiritual process where you have to understand that more specifically when you start to actually bring it into lay terms, it's mostly what I would call simply called chemistry. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the book of this young man by the name of Paulo Coelho, I think that's his name. He put together an amazing book a few years ago, I believe, called The Alchemist. Once you come to understand exactly how branding works, you will see that yes, you are called here to actually perform miracles in the world of science. You will come here to simply use whatever you have in your hands, in your mind as an idea, to start giving birth into reality in your life. Because Jimi Hendrix, when he was born in 1942, he had no idea how he eventually was going to become a musician. But the idea of branding himself as a musician was actually that it started leading him to start making decisions on a day-to-day basis that eventually gave birth to the fact that yes, it doesn't matter, but this young boy is too messy. What exactly is happening around the house? But when he eventually caught him playing with the broom as if it was the guitar, that's him said, oh, now I see. So this young man is trying to express an idea, and the idea is simply that yes, if thing is actually born to be a musician, if thing was actually born to be a guitar player, so I'm going to go out of my way to buy me a guitar. And once he gave me the guitar, the young man simply went on to simply amaze people by the ability to play the guitar and to simply go on to take the world by storm. That was example number 2. Example number 1. In 1938, when this young man was actually born in Sonabata in the Congo, Franco Noble Magadi, in 1945, when the world was in a state of war, the young man simply said, people are fighting out there, but as far as I'm concerned, I believe I was actually called to do something crazy, which simply to be a musician. So I'm going to go take some pieces of wood around the house and put them together, take some string, attach them to this piece of wood, and take the strings on this piece of wood and start playing them until I could hear the sound of music, the note of music. And slowly, one by one, I was going to simply perfect my timing and my ability to actually play this instrument. And before even people start paying attention, my goodness, There was a 7-year-old somewhere in the community who was playing this thing that sounded like a guitar, and he's playing very well. And when in 1948 his father finally passed away, he had to go perform in the market. This young man took his ability to play basically in the back room, to play in the bathroom, to play in his backyard, to play in his community, to now to go in front of the whole world to play and to simply learn how to be an entertainer. One thing led to another. This living cell of being a person to be a musician started attracting other people like they were young to simply say, oh my goodness, there's a younger brother in the community who wants to be a musician, so let's just go after him and just bring him into our own group of musicians. So when they brought him in a group of musicians in 1950, they put together this group called What Time. And when they put this young man who was barely 12 to start playing music, people screamed and says, how is it possible this 12-year-old can play music with such virtuoso? Oh my God, at barely 12 years old, this young was able to simply stun the crowd because he was playing so well that they could not understand how this thing was possible. Why was this thing possible? Because the young man intuitively understood that yes, personal branding is simply, it's about chemistry. And once you let the living cell receive the attention, the time and the space it needs in order for it to express itself, the living cell will start growing, and as it starts growing, it will start attracting other living cells, and together will give birth to tissue, and tissue after another, you get a bunch of tissues together, and it will simply give to something tangible that will simply stun the world around you and leave you in a place where you're going to command the respect of people as far as the community is concerned, and also command the respect of this thing known as history. All right? Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Also, now we also have in the house Rose Ehujo in the house. Thank you very much. I appreciate the thumbs up. Thank you very much for being here. Yes, okay. Let me see if there's any question as far as this thing is concerned, because as far as what I meant to actually share with you is actually concerned, I think I'm done. I'm done. So again, before I take my leave, thank you very much for all of you to actually for having taken the time to actually come join me for this live stream. I'm so looking forward to sharing more with you in the days to come. Until then, take good care and remember, personal branding is a process. It's a process where you're simply called to acknowledge the living cell within you. And that living cell, once you give it the time, the space to actually express itself, it will simply go on to simply grow and start attracting other living cells. And together, it will simply come to a place where they will start transforming the seeming lack in your life, the seeming nothingness in your life, into something tangible. I gave you the example of a Rumble McCandy. It was simply thrown into the market to actually start playing music for his mom. I gave you the example of Jimi Hendrix in America, who simply was given the opportunity, was looking for an opportunity to express himself by simply playing with the broom in his house. Eventually, that idea gave birth to a natural guitar, and eventually became the prominent man that we know in the world of music. And I finally give you the example of Moses. Moses was given a personal brand. The brand was simply say, you're going to be a leader, but he simply said, you're going to call me a leader, but I'm a shepherd, so how can I possibly go out there to be a leader? But God simply said, but my son, I'm telling you that, my God, personal brand is simply a living cell. If you embrace the living cell, you're going to simply come to the ability to transform the reality around you. As a matter of fact, to prove it, I'm going to ask you to take a piece of wood, just like I gave this young man back in the front corner of my car, the piece of wood. He turned the piece of wood into music. I'm going to ask you to take that staff in your hand, to put it in the ground and see what's going to happen. And what it was simply amazed himself, because he realized, oh, this chemistry work. This living cell actually can transform itself and transform things around it to actually give some birth to something tangible. And that's when he started paying attention, and eventually it went down to actually make history as far as the world of leadership is concerned. All right? Yes. Where am I from? I was actually born and raised in Africa, in a country known as Zaire, back in the days, and today known as the Democratic Republic of Congo. Sorry, and now I live in this country known as Canada. So that's something I also wanted to address at the very beginning, because I kept receiving messages. People, oh yes, where exactly in America are you? No, I'm not in America. I'm in Canada. So I hope I answered your question. Born and raised in Africa, and from Africa, I left Africa and moved to Belgium, and from Belgium I eventually moved to Canada. So I've been living in this country for over 27 years. Yes. Any other question? Other than that, Yes, I love what I do. I love what I do. I love what I do because I believe what I do as someone who's passionate about seeing other people get problem with themselves to the next level, as far as the personal branding process is concerned, or wealth creation is concerned, it gives me an ability to also work with people closely and within the community here in Canada and also abroad, slowly but surely. And this is something I'm taking very seriously. And yes, as you can see, when I start talking about the things I do on a daily basis, I become extremely passionate. And this is how basically, yes, I love to live my life. As a matter of fact, let me just put it in a better term. The idea of doing what I do love to express itself through me. And as I'm giving it the time and space to express itself, it's simply, yes, amazing me by how it's growing and also attracting other people such as yourself to come and to be part of this growing tribe, to be part of this community of people. And slowly but surely, we're attracting more people. And before you know it, it's going to give birth to, yes, some tangible reality that will simply amaze the rest of the world. And I'm speaking about me, but about you, the same thing is possible. If you embrace the idea that you have and you become one with the idea of being what you call to be. So you can be, do, have, and you embrace that. And you simply says, why would a man or a woman was called to be all these things they're supposed to do, and you start following that and simply excluding everything that have nothing to do with the vision, the goal, and the practice you have. Slowly but surely, this being is going to start causing you to start doing, and this doing will simply cause you to actually have something, simply have a tangible reality that will simply amaze you, because that's how it always works. It's about chemistry. You are here to actually simply be a chemist. You are simply here in this world to simply embrace an idea, and once you embrace the idea as a living cell is simply to go on to attract the right other opportunity, the right of people around you, and these people together, they will start giving birth to what I would simply call a tissue. And tissue after another, you will simply have a body of tissues that will eventually become something tangible for the whole world to behold as a tangible reality. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much, Marcus. Thank you so very much. Thank you. As a matter of fact, even in the world of in the legal world, as an attorney, you come to realize that yes, I have the idea to be someone. I have the idea to be this attorney who's supposed to be going there to defend the truth for other people. It sounds so vague at first. Oh my goodness, what is this guy doing? Oh, is she just going around, or is just going around to just look for cases to actually defend before the court of law and so on and so forth? But what they don't see is the fact that yes, you actually slowly but surely building a community of people that simply going to make sure that yes, the cases are heard, and what with that, you're simply going to build a body of justice that's going to be tangible. Because when you go to the courts of law and you see this picture, I mean this culture, or this image of this woman simply blindfolding, holding something in her hand and doing something, posing, people say, yeah, this is just picture, this is no, it's true. It's the body of justice must be given birth to as far as the community is concerned. We must come to see that yes, justice is not just an idea, but it's also a tangible reality. In order for that to happen, we need on one end, we need attorneys, we need judges, and we need people to come together and to start arguing the case in front of one another, and before we know it, we're going to have a tangible reality and simply say, yes, I had the case. My case was heard, and I can see a tangible result as far as the process is concerned. And now for that to happen, we need a crazy man to simply believe that yes, I was called, I was designed to simply be an attorney, I was designed to be a judge. And with this idea of being, you're going to start doing certain things, and when you start doing certain things, you're going to give us a tangible reality of simply not this thing known as lady justice within the community. Yes, all right. So I think as far as this thing is concerned, I am done. Thank you very much for actually joining me for this brief impromptu of about 23 minutes of presentation as far as personal branding is concerned. Looking forward to sharing more with you tomorrow morning at 7:30 again at same place, same time. So 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. As far as if you live in New York State, we're basically in the same time zone. Otherwise, it's 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here before you again for another 23-minute presentation as far as the world of personal branding is concerned. And tomorrow we'll be looking at more specifically wealth creation, and this is something you don't want to miss. All right, love you so much. The best is yet to come, and as I keep telling people, in order for the best to manifest, you and I have to remain intentional as far as what we are called to be is concerned, and what we are called to do, and what we are called to have. And once you become intentional about what you are called to be, what you are called to do, and what you are called to have, my friend, you're simply going to stun the world. You're going to amaze the world by your ability to give birth to something tangible. Oh my goodness, yes, yeah. That just be intentional as far as this is concerned. But of course, before you go, 4 key things I'm gonna kindly ask you to do. Number 1, please make sure to to hit the like button as far as this thing is concerned. YouTube knows that we're delivering great value as far as what we do is concerned. Number 2, please make sure you leave a comment in the comment section to tell me where you're watching me from, so I know exactly, who I'm dealing with as far as who I'm talking to as far as what I do is concerned. Even later, you can come back to this video and just put a comment, so I know I can see you now, but you can leave a comment in the comment section. Number 3, please make sure to share this video with as many people as possible. Last but not least, please make sure to subscribe if you've not already done so we can continue to grow together as a tribe. All right, love you so much. But as far as this thing is concerned, I have to take my leave because I have things to have to do, and I'm sure you do have things to do as well. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Until then, take good care, and for the time being, I'm out. All right, love you so much. Mwah.